By the year 2000, JRPG players were already indulged with the Japanese role-playing game genre. With games like The Legend of Dragoon, the Final Fantasy series, and Chrono Cross, JRPGs made themselves known to people worldwide. But in August of 2000, developer Tri-Ace released Valkyrie Profile in North America for the PlayStation 1 and granted us a new spin on how JRPGs are played. And when I say new spin, I don't just mean that they took turn-based games and created their own new mechanics. No, I mainly mean that they told us a story in a unique way. A story about loyalty, betrayal, fascism, empathy, and loss. Outside of all the combat and all the looting, Valkyrie Profile tells a story about defying an inner fate and controlling one's destiny. It's up to the players to actually be Lenneth, look for hints, and face the truth behind her existence, even if it means betraying those that claim to be close to her. In today's video, we're going to take a bit of a deep dive into Valkyrie Profile and explore this emotional tale. Welcome to Valkyrie Profile, the story so far. Now before we continue, this video will have full-on spoilers, so I'm going into this assuming that you've played Valkyrie Profile and saw at the very least the true ending. Nowadays, we're used to seeing games in a Nordic setting. Titles like God of War have done amazing work in exploring the mythology, but back in the PlayStation 1 days, Nordic settings were pretty rare. Valkyrie Profile, while it does take some creative liberties, it is still set in Norse mythology. The 9 realms of Yggdrasil still exist in this universe, but mainly 5 of the realms are mentioned. Asgard, the heavenly kingdom of the Nordic gods, the Aesir. Niflheim, where hell rules and souls go to suffer for eternity. Alfheim, home of the light elves that look like fairies in this title. Jotunheim, the land of the giants, aka the Vanir, and sworn enemy of the Aesir. And Midgard, home to humans and a race of elves, and where the majority of the game takes place. Unfortunately, Midgard also suffers from war, famine, class struggles, and illnesses. Of the 9 realms, 4 of them each have an artifact or treasure, as the game calls them, that serve as a beacon of stability and maintain balance and peace. Asgard has Gungnir, which also serves as Odin's spear. Gungnir preserves the stability of Asgard. Alfheim has the Sylvan Bow, Niflheim contains the demon sword Levantine, and Midgard houses the Dragon Orb. Keep in mind that without these treasures, each realm falls into an unbalanced state and suffrage. For further information, let's showcase the main characters of this tale. The main cast can be broken down into 3 different races. The Aesir, which are the gods of Asgard. These are Odin the Allfather and King of Asgard. Loki, the main antagonist. Since he's half Aesir and half Vanir, he constantly is socially rejected and is never trusted by his fellow Aesir. Because of this, he has a high contempt towards all the gods and mankind alike. And lastly, we have Freya, second in command and wife to Odin. She loves all the Aesir but looks down on other races. Freya is also responsible for overseeing Lenneth's performance on Midgard. Freya is a mystery that we'll be discussing thoroughly later on in the video. Next are the Vanir. While we see many Vanir during different battles, the only one who is properly introduced is Surt, the king of Jotunheim and commander of the opposing army fighting against Odin and the Aesir. Finally, we have the Midgardians. Starting with Arngrim, he's a ruthless mercenary but loyal to his friends, and Lenneth, the main character of the story, who we're going to get to in a few moments. Next is Mystina, a graduate at the top of her class at Flensburg Academy. She has dedicated her spare time into seeking more knowledge of the realms. Specifically, she wants to learn more about Yggdrasil and the Bifrost, the road that connects Asgard to other realms. Beautiful, yet egotistical, a powerful mage and recruitable on Heriar. But like Arngrim, she grows fond of Lenneth and becomes loyal to her cause. Now for Brahms, the lord of the undead and vampires in Midgard. It is said that he has previously fought Odin in the past and might be close to being just as powerful as him. However, he somehow personally knows Lenneth and holds a deep connection to Silmeria. More on him later. Lastly, we have Lizard Valeth, who I would argue is the actual antagonist in the overarching story of Valkyrie Profile. Lizard was a student at Flensburg Academy who was expelled by his mentor Lorenta. Lizard is obsessed with becoming a god, but his obsession does not compete with his love and lust for Lenneth. Somehow, he caught sight of her and has been obsessed with her ever since. Lizard also seeks the Philosopher's Stone, an artifact that grants its possessor infinite knowledge. Murderous, intelligent, and sadistic, Lizard will do anything to get what he wants. Now let's jump back to the Aesir for a sec, because of course, we need to talk about the three Valkyrie sisters. First, Hrist is the oldest of the three sisters. The game portrays her as another type of antagonist, and sure, yeah, she kinda is. However, I would argue that she's very loyal to Odin and perhaps misguided by his cause. The middle sibling of the three is Lenneth, the main character of this story. Unlike her older sister, Lenneth is more empathetic towards everyone, especially humans, but it doesn't hinder her drive to be battle ready. She is very level-headed and is dedicated to her mission. She has a unique ability called Spirit Concentration, which allows her to sense different despairs in the world and see which warrior is suitable to reach Valhalla. The youngest of the sisters is Silmeria. Since she's the youngest, she's more rebellious than her other sisters. She's also very kind to her on Heriar. Additionally, she's also one of the main protagonists in Valkyrie Profile 2 Silmeria for the PlayStation 2, but we'll save that for another video. Now, to further understand Valkyrie Profile, you have to know how the world or its universe functions. This is a little hard to explain, but I think I got this. You see, the world of Valkyrie Profile is in a constant loop. In each cycle, Odin and the Aesir are at war. Whether it be Ragnarok against the Vanir or a battle against the undead, Asgard is always fighting someone, and it seems as if Odin is always the victor. Within these cycles, Odin and Freya awaken or activate one of the three Valkyries by doing a ritual called the Sovereign's Rite, and only one Valkyrie can be awakened at a time. After the awakening, Odin and Freya tasked a Valkyrie to recruit suitable warriors or Anheriar. In short, Anheriar are warriors that died honorably during battle. After they die, a Valkyrie recruit their soul to fight for the Aesir and live the rest of their eternity in Valhalla. The problem with these cycles is that there's always too many human casualties. People die, the world basically ends, and then humans are reincarnated in the next time cycle. The issue is that during these wars, people constantly suffer. In other words, it doesn't matter that they're brought back to life or not. Their life is going to be shitty anyway, and we're going to get into that further into the video later on. If you played Valkyrie Profile, then you're aware that the game has three endings: A, B, and C. C being the bad ending, B is the normal ending, and A is the true ending. So let's discuss the story as if you're playing towards the B ending, which is the ending that almost everybody gets anyway. To summarize, Lenneth is awakened, Odin and Freya warn you that Ragnarok is coming, and it's up to you to recruit Anheriar and send him to Asgard. So that's what you do. You play through all 8 chapters, you reach Jotunheim, and defeat Surt. Congrats, you won. But the ending is so bland. Freya just puts Lenneth back to sleep, and you end up feeling pretty damn empty. There must be something more, right? Now, I've seen people say that the game has these endings because it wants you to learn the mechanics and then take what you've learned into the next playthrough. And sure, that's one reason. However, I would argue that the game wants you to experience the time cycles, like Lenneth, because just like her, you start to become aware that there is more to the gods than they seem. Think about it. Throughout your first playthrough, you do your best to keep your eval points up, which is basically Odin's score towards your performance. You recruit and send up as many Einherjar as Asgard needs. You basically do everything the gods want to then be put back to sleep. But then you awaken again for another cycle, only this time you're gonna follow hints and signs that the game gives you. In other words, you don't just play as Lenneth. The game wants you to be Lenneth. But like I said before, the game gives hints, which actually starts in the title menu in the prologue. So let's explore that with the A ending route. The prologue introduces you to a girl named Platina, a young teen girl who lives in a very poor village called Coriander. Almost everyone in this town is suffering from illness and struggle to financially survive. Parents are even selling their children to slave traders. Platina is constantly abused by her parents, and like the others, they plan on selling Platina to slave traders. Even though Platina has a suffering existence, there is one person that knows and loves her, her teenage sweetheart, Lucien, who learns about Platina's mother's plan and helps Platina escape. Though reluctant, they venture off together. Eventually they make their way to a field of weeping lilies, and Platina, excited about their future together, dances in the field. Unfortunately, the weeping lilies are poisonous, but it's too late. Platina, dying in Lucien's arms, tells him that her life was too cruel to her. Her parents abused her, and her life was just too much to bear. She just wants to forget everything. Lucien, left with these last words, has to live with the fact that Platina died wanting to forget everything, and that there was nothing he was able to do to make her happy. He has to now live with these words forever.
I'm so glad to have known you, Lucien, but I have too many awful memories. I just want to forget it all.
No! Wake up! I won't have it! You want to forget? Would you forget me too, Platina? Platina!
Yeah, this game is very depressing. So now we have our first question. Who is Platina, and what does she have to do with Lenneth? Now before we continue forward, let's explain how the game mechanics are actually woven into the story. While playing through the game, you notice that every Einherjar has a hero value, yet Lenneth has a seal value, and depending on what you do, these numbers go up and down. Now we know some factors that bring down the seal value, going to Jerebellum, the Weeping Lily Meadow, etc. However, there's one important element that I want to bring up. Her seal value goes down when she recruits an Einherjar. So why is that? I believe that it's because of her empathetic nature. Every time she recruits someone, she has to witness their death and the world's suffering in different ways. I think seeing this weakens her seal. And I also want to point out that I like the way that the seal value and eval points coincide with the way you plan out this new playthrough. So let's talk about the seal value real quick. Now we know that what strengthens it is having the Nibelungen ring on, sending Einherjar to Asgard, etc. Also, like I've pointed out in a past video, what weakens it are certain elements like, again, seeing events, recruiting, taking off the ring, etc. However, since you and Lenneth both are aware that something is up, you manipulate the numbers to your favor. Send Odin 2 Einherjar per chapter? Screw that, that brings the seal value up by 12 points. Odin is going to get 1. Odin likes that Lenneth wears the Nibelungen ring? Well, the hell with that, you take it off. And what about the artifacts at the end of each dungeon that brings the eval points up and down? You're gonna keep them, and all you have to do to manipulate the eval points is basically send up a strong Einherjar. Honestly, I know it's kinda subtle, but it's almost like you're faking your loyalty while you figure things out at the same time. Now as you progress further through the game, you go through different chapters. In chapter 4, you end up finding Lucien, who is older now, and a freelance mercenary for the poor population of Jerusalem. In this city, nobility rules above all else, and the poor are left to fend for themselves and steal to survive. When Lenneth enters the town, Lucian finds her familiar. Lenneth, who doesn't know who he is, she brushes it off, but is left with a lingering feeling in the back of her mind. Afterwards, and with this thought, she stumbles upon the Weeping Lily's meadow, and her seal value further weakens.
This place. I'm sure I felt the resonance of human thought. Huh? Your kind does not belong in this place! They fled. Why would specters gather around this stone? What is this? A grave marker. Who would put a grave in a place like this? What am I doing here? Why was I brought to this place?
Additionally, Lenneth is drawn to Brahm's castle and meets the vampire Lord of the Undead, who actually recognizes Lenneth from a past life, but like the Lucian situation, she doesn't know Brahms on a personal level. Oh, and I also think I need to point out that he has Silmeria captive in a crystal, but this is actually a setup for Valkyrie Profile too. I guess I need to play that next. Brahms is also briefly mentioned in the C ending.
The primary ego, Lenneth, has been sealed off. The secondary ego, Hrist, has been placed in Valkyrie's astral body and is ready to be awakened.
I see. I suppose there was no choice.
I'm concerned about her past history with Brahms.
You're referring to Silmeria, eh? It may indeed prove troublesome, but now is not the time to worry about it.
Very well. I will begin the awakening ceremony.
Later in Chapter 4, Lazard makes his grand entrance by kidnapping an elf. We're going to discuss his plans in a bit with that elf. But what we do need to know is that he also kidnapped his old mentor, Lorenta's husband, to lure her to the tower for the sole reason to turn him into a demon so that he can kill Lorenta. Remember that Lorenta expelled Lazard from the Sorcerer's Academy. And this entire plot to kidnap the husband and lure Lorenta was for one particular reason: to lure Lenneth to his tower, because he knew that she would sense the demon that killed Lorenta. Basically, Lazard is obsessively in love with Lenneth. Did I mention that Lazard was a freaking creep? Somehow in the past he caught a glimpse of her, and he's been nuts over her ever since. As a result, he wants to turn her human and have her all to himself.
Welcome, Valkyrie, my beloved. How long I have waited for this moment. My heart now throbs with the same exaltation as when I first laid eyes on you many months ago. Valkyrie, my lady love.
A
teleportation spell. How is it that you command the lost magics?
I have been thinking on this since I first beheld you. Gods who exist on the same plane as the restless souls of dead humans. What manner of being are they? I have concluded that gods are very much like souls, and so I have created this vessel. I have, shall we say, reverse engineered in Elf, the vessel of the gods, to fashion this homunculus. There are no other souls worthy of such an exquisite construct. Fair Valkyrie, I have crafted it for you.
For the sole purpose of luring me here, you slaughtered the couple on the roof?
That's right.
And you sacrificed countless lives, both elf and human, in order to create a vessel for a single being?
Why, yes, actually. It is not the goddess within you that I lust for, Valkyrie. I wish to make of you a human. It is for that my heart burns.
You are insane. How can such trivial thoughts consume you so? Humans who seek to cross beyond their designated boundaries invite more than death. They invite total annihilation.
What a shame. No matter. I can birth as many homunculi as necessary.
Come to me, Dark Warriors. Battle awaits us.
Open the gates of Niflheim. More souls await.
Yeah! Ha! 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 Take that!
Ye must desire respite from thy empty existence. Thou shalt have it. Celestial star!
Confound it!
I grow tired of you. Finishing strike. Final blast. Now die in peace.
It shall be engraved upon your soul. Divine assault. Nibelung Valesti. Is it over?
No, I will not accept this. I pray that we shall meet again.
So now you run? You cannot possibly believe that love can exist between humans and gods.
What did you just say? Between human and God? You really don't have any idea what you are, do you?
What I am? Do not be ridiculous. Odin, Lord of all gods, is my father, my creator.
You believe whatever you like. It matters little to me. Know this, Valkyrie. Know that you are beloved of Lenneth Valeth.
Nonsense!
We shall meet again, my sweet.
Lenneth does make one valid point though. There is more to Lenneth that she herself realizes. Afterwards, Lenneth finds all of Lenneth's lifeless vessels and experiments. Vessels that look familiar.
What is this place? That human. What has he done? It can't be.
God, he's such a fucking creep. But with this new knowledge, her seal does weaken. When Chapter 5 starts, Lucian appears in spirit concentration as a potential recruit. Sadly, him and the rest of the poor population are being hunted down and killed by half the city's army for pickpocketing a noble. Lucian dies protecting the children and leaves his best friend behind, similar to how Platina left him alone. However, because he died protecting people, Lenneth recruits him as an Anheriar. Later in Chapter 5, Mestina appears and finds out that Lenneth, her former classmate, has become more powerful, so she uses a machine that I believe she invented to transfer her soul out of her physical body to sneak into his tower. It's here that she finds out that Lenneth has obtained some sort of ancient knowledge. She also finds one of his vessels, or homunculi, as he calls them. She steals the vessel as blackmail so that Lenneth can share his newly obtained knowledge with her. It's here that we learn something very important about Odin during Mestina's and Lenneth's conversation. We also end up finding out a bit more about Lenneth's plans. Lenneth recently came into possession of the Philosopher's Stone, an ancient artifact that grants infinite knowledge to its possessor, but as he says, it reads like a 10 billion page codex. However, he also learned that the Aesir use elves on Midgard to transfer their own godly souls into said elves so that they may wander with mortals at times. Additionally, he learned that the gods are essentially the final evolution of mankind. Therefore, they're static beings. They can't grow any stronger. Odin, on the other hand, is actually half elf, half Aesir, and because of this, he has the ability to continuously grow into godhood and strength. And this is why he's the king and all-father of Asgard. He took advantage of his growth to gain more power and was able to claim the throne of Asgard. With this in mind, Lenneth believes that if he can transfer his own soul into a half-human, half-elf homunculi, he can also become a god. Okay, I know, it's a weird theory that he has, but he basically believes that elves are considered gods because they can house the soul of a god, and Odin also grew into a powerful being. Therefore, Lenneth thinks he could do the same. I mean, I guess the Philosopher's Stone told him so, why the hell not, right? I mean, we said he was insane, but I have to say, the theory and the past of Odin is very interesting. It proves that Odin has the will to take advantage of situations as long as they benefit him and his agenda of keeping the Aesir all-powerful and in control. Later, Lenneth, even though he appears to be friends with Mestina, isn't happy with the fact that she stole his homunculi. While Mestina is still in her corporeal form, Lenneth freezes her machine, essentially breaking it and killing off her physical body in the process. Afterwards, Lenneth notices her death, sees a powerful mage, and decides to recruit Mestina despite her egotistical nature. Now, like I stated in my last video, how to play Valkyrie Profile, you have to send Lucian to Asgard in Chapter 5 or 6, which triggers another important scene.
Lucian, What is it that has taken root so deeply in your soul that it troubles you still? If you do not wish to answer, I will leave you be. However, I must remind you that you cannot accept your death until you have left your worldly troubles behind. What is it, Lucian? Have you decided to speak?
Would you go with me to that village?
I have no objection.
I was born in this village. We always used to play here, the two of us.
And this house?
My best friend. This was her house. I hated her parents. They were always so cruel to her. But Platina got upset when I spoke ill of them, so I tried to keep my mouth shut.
Her name was Platina?
Yeah. We were so close, but...
But?
One day I found out that her parents were going to sell her. We escaped together. I was just a dumb kid back then. I couldn't think of any other way. I wouldn't let anything happen to her, no matter what. In the dark of night, we ran until our lungs were about to burst. Just like this. And then, we stumbled onto this place.
May I ask a favor? Would you take off your helmet? I knew it. You look just like her.
That girl.
Yes, that girl, Platina. She inhaled the weeping lily pollen. It was my fault that she died. If I hadn't convinced her to run away with me, she would still be alive.
And you think that I resemble this girl?
I know! I know it's wrong to feel this way about a stranger, just because she looks like someone else. But that doesn't change the fact that I love her.
You see a semblance of your first love when you look at me. but there's a chasm between men and gods that cannot be traversed. Thus, love between the two is not possible. However, Lucian, I hope you live so we can meet again.
I think it's safe to assume that Lenneth and Lucian started to get like a little close during their battles together. However, Lucian still proves to be one of the strongest Einherjar, making him more than worthy for Asgard. I mean, it's not wrong, he's a very powerful fighter, and even I myself was reluctant to sum him up. Either way, with Chapter 5 now over, let's briefly go over Chapter 6. There's a dungeon in here called the Lost City of the Pan. I'll be honest, this entire area is basically a setup for Valkyrie Profile 2. The castle is in ruins, but it's still haunted by his former king and his advisors who betrayed him. The advisors, aka 3 mages, activate a time machine that transports Lenneth to the distant past before the castle was in ruins. Here she witnesses her older sister Hrist, who is the awakened Valkyrie at this time. She's also leading the same Einherjar that Lenneth has in a raid against the castle. Since this is a setup for VP2, I'm gonna make this quick. For reasons unknown until the sequel, the king wanted his kingdom to live independently from the gods of Asgard, and Odin, he took that personal. He orders Hrist to destroy the kingdom of Japan and executes the king in front of everyone, including his daughter, Princess Alicia. Somehow, the 3 advisors are part of this, but with the help of the Queen and the King's will, Lenneth makes it back to the present. I gotta say, holding the King's head like that is pretty dark. But anyway, as Lenneth, you fight the 3 mages, defeat them, and the King can now peacefully rest. Man, I really need to play Valkyrie Profile 2. As we go back to Lenneth's story in Chapter 7, we see Lucian and Asgard in deep thought. Approached by Frey and Loki, a conversation starts about Lenneth. Frey tells Lucian that Valkyries sleep in mortal bodies before they are awakened, but once Odin needs them, Freya awakens them and seals their human memories. In other words, yes, Lenneth is Platina, but she doesn't remember. Freya sealed away her memories because her primary function is to be a Valkyrie and nothing more. Frey, feeling like she said too much, leaves the conversation, but Lucian is left wanting to tell Lenneth the truth about her existence. Loki, taking advantage of Lucian, says that there is a way that he can talk to her, but the way to do so is in a forbidden chamber that only Odin can access. Loki convinces him to go to the chamber so he can talk to Lenneth via the water mirror. As they enter the chamber, there is another artifact here. The Dragon Orb, one of the 4 treasures, the one that keeps Midgard in balance and stable. Loki secretly steals the orb, but Lucian doesn't notice.
Valkyrie, do you hear me? It's me, Lucian. Valkyrie, do you hear me? Valkyrie.
What happened here? You think I will forgive you for taking such liberties?
I know you won't, but...
Lucian, what is this?
I'm going to send you one of these earrings, and I want you to take it. But the other one is hidden somewhere else.
What do you mean? That's why you used the water mirror?
It wasn't really the earring that I wanted to give you. But I thought if you accepted it, maybe... No. I know that you'll figure out where the other earring is.
How will I? You dare to order me to go treasure hunting? You're a fool. Now that you have done this, have you any idea of the repercussions? This was unforgivable!
Why? Why did it have to come to this?
With the Dragon Orb in his possession, Loki gains limitless power. More importantly, he now has someone to frame. Loki kills Lucian and blames the missing Dragon Orb on him. Loki basically lies to the rest of the Aesir, saying that Lucian hid the Dragon Orb somewhere on Midgard. Later on, Lenneth is made aware that Lucian has betrayed Asgard and died for his crimes by Loki's hands, but she's not fully fazed by it, yet. During her final spirit concentration in Chapter 8, Lenneth is drawn to the Weeping Lily's meadow, where the second earring is located.
It wasn't really the earring that I wanted to give you. But I thought if you accepted it, maybe... No. I know that you'll figure out where the other earring is.
The seal!
The seal on Lenneth is finally broken, but Odin and Freya have a backup plan. By performing the Sovereign's Right ritual, Odin removes Lenneth from her Valkyrie form and awakens Hrist as her replacement. Hrist orders the Einherjar to follow her now, but being loyal to Lenneth, Arngrim and Mestina refused. Hrist, not amused by the refusal, tries to kill them, but the last remnants of Lenneth's soul blocks the fatal attack, shattering her soul in the process. Lazard and his creepy ass self makes another appearance, saying that there is a way to save Lenneth. They can use one of his vessels to temporarily house the soul until they can get Lenneth's physical body back from Hrist. With Lenneth's soul now crystallized by Mestina, they can properly make the temporary transfer, but it won't hold for long. Thankfully, Hrist mentioned that she has a score to settle with Brahms, so Mestina, Arngrim, and Lazard make their way to his castle. Upon their arrival, Hrist is already challenging Brahms, and here's the kicker. Brahms also knows Arngrim, but Arngrim doesn't remember him. It appears as if Brahms also lives outside of the time cycles like gods do. But again, that's more Valkyrie Profile 2 stuff. But either way, Hrist needs to be stopped, and Brahms offers to help, telling the group that Hrist is not at her full power yet, so now is the time to strike. When the battle starts, Lenneth cries out to Einherjar and begs them to not die.
I beseech you,
Hrist,
for me,
prepare
do not
yourself.
die! Ha! Mystic cross, dog!
Feel the power of darkness. Finishing strike. Bloody curse. Farewell, frail one.
This is impossible! You creatures are but slaves of the gods! Ah!
With the physical form now crystallized, everything is ready. Brahms leaves, and the group can now bring Lenneth back. To do so, they need to merge the crystal with the homunculi. With the power of the sorceress, Lenneth is finally back. But something's wrong.
The death of a loved one. For they that remain, the wounds grow deeper and deeper. They that remain grow weaker and weaker, an agony incomparable, their hearts in bondage. Who is the one that remains? And who is the one who departed?
I don't want to be left alone again. A long time ago, she died and left me alone.
You can't just leave me.
Will you be the one to die this time? Is that truly acceptable?
No! Wake up! I won't have it! You want to forget? Would you forget me too, Platina?
Lucian?
How is choosing a servant any different from picking a flower?
Aren't you just a death goddess?
Was I picking souls as though I was picking flowers? What is a Valkyrie? Am I merely a death goddess? You cannot possibly believe that love can exist between humans and gods.
You really don't have any idea what you are, do you?
We always used to play here, the two of us. My best friend. This was her house. I knew it. You look exactly like her. It was my fault if I hadn't brought her with me. It wasn't really the earring that I wanted to give you, but I thought if you accepted it, maybe...
This is all an illusion, but there is truth within illusions. And when the illusion fades, the truth will still resonate within you. When you return to reality, what should you do? Try to remember your former self. Remember how you used to feel. Remember what you used to want.
This was unforgivable! I hate it!
With the seal now broken, Lenneth has regained her memories from her past life as Platina. Every word and scenario that her fellow recruits has shared with her is flooding her soul and pains her mind. More importantly, a memory and realization comes to light. The last words to Lucian were words of anger, and furthermore, Lucian is now gone, and once the soul dies, there is no coming back. Dreaded by this, all Lenneth has left is the earring he gave her and the memories of the only person that loved her during her suffering as Platina. And now, just like Lucian, Lenneth is now left alone with nothing more but the earring and painful last words. At around the same time, Loki offers Surt a solution to the war. He offers the Dragon Orb, his faithful companion Fenrir, and the dragon Bloodbane, who somehow came into possession of the treasure of Niflheim, the demon sword Levantine. But like the Aesir, Surt doesn't trust Loki and refuses the proposal. This pushes Loki over the edge, and he uses the Dragon Orb to kill Surt and his army. But it doesn't stop there. Asgard is his next target. He confronts Odin, and Freya tries to intervene, but none of them are no match for Loki and his newfound powers. Lenneth arrives in time to witness Asgard and Valhalla fall to ruin, and Frey informs Lenneth that it was Loki who stole the orb. However, it was Odin that stole the orb from Midgard first, for two reasons actually. One, to gain more power for the war on Ragnarok. And two, and fair warning, this is kind of a fucked up part, Odin stole the orb to purposely bring instability to Midgard. This way more people can die, and Lenneth will have more suitable candidates for Ragnarok against the Vanir. That's right, you heard correctly. In other words, Midgard, the human world, is in constant war, suffering, poverty, and illness because Odin wanted more soldiers for the war without caring about any of the human casualty. Upon arriving at the battlefield, Odin's already dead, with Freya mourning over him. But another important conversation takes place here.
Where is Loki?
You're going to go after him?
yes. No! First we must rally the rest of the gods, do you not think?
I no longer have to obey commands from you. The whole reason that this final battle is occurring at all is because Odin stole that orb in the first place. In other words, people are suffering. Can't we redress the wrongs?
Open your eyes, Lenneth. I know what you are planning to do. But a person's death is but a fleeting moment. I sealed your memory thinking it was best for you. Humans are born, and then after they die, they are reborn. The circle of life turns for eternity. That is the course of nature. You must not allow such human emotions to consume you. You will lose everything.
What is this everything you speak of?
Huh?
How arrogant of you. Human emotions, you say. I feel pity for all of them. I wish to save them. Parting is truly a sorrow.
Now let's get this important factor out of the way for a second. Freya has proven here that she and the rest of the Aesir have no real sympathy towards others. They only care about themselves and the Aesir. Even Frey tells Lenneth that Odin simply wanted to kill 2 birds with 1 stone, and that he made Lenneth's job easier for her. No regard for human life whatsoever. But of all the Aesir, one of the worst ones has to be Freya. Remember around the beginning of the video when I said we're going to talk about Freya? Well, here we are. We're going to start that now. Freya is such a fucking hypocrite. Throughout the entire game, she's cheering you on while you're loyal to Asgard. At the beginning of the game, she even hugs you. But the moment Lenneth shows any empathy and regards towards human life, Freya has the damn nerve to look down on her and lecture her, basically saying, "This is how it is. They suffer, they die, but we win." And by the way, this isn't the only time that Freya and the Aesir stole something for their own benefit. During a past sacred phase, Freya orders the Aesir army and Anheriar to take the Sylvan Bow from the Light Elves of Alfheim, by force if they have to. You remember the Sylvan Bow, the other treasure that keeps Alfheim in balance? This is yet another world that they potentially destroy to win their war and further their bullshit selfish agenda. And during the sea ending, you know, the bad ending, Freya calls Lenneth a faulty machine and murders your entire party. And in another scene, she calls humans meat cages. She just proves again and again that her and the Aesir believe that they're the superior ones and look down upon everyone else. What a fucking fascist. Yeah, her hypocrisy really pissed me off. But, I mean, yeah, sure, Mommy Freya. But a fascist nonetheless. Lenneth, filled with anger, resents Freya for not showing the same compassion towards all the people that died because of Odin stealing the orb. But all that is left now is Loki, and Lenneth with her fellow warriors are the only ones left to stop him. As you make your way through Asgard Hill, you fight Bloodbane, who is honestly one of the toughest bosses in the entire game. Upon defeat, Lenneth is now in possession of the Levantine sword, and the next fight is against Fenrir, who is thankfully much easier than Bloodbane. Waiting at the top of Asgard Hill is Loki with the Dragon Orb. The battle begins, but the party is no match for Loki. After the battle, Loki tells Lenneth that she's holding back her latent power because she doesn't want to hurt anyone in the process. To rectify this, Loki kills all of her Anheriar, and destroys Midgard in the process. And that was Loki's biggest mistake. Since Lenneth's goddess physical body fused with Lazard's homunculi, just like Odin, she is now a goddess that can evolve and further gain power. Because of this fusion and her empathetic nature, Lenneth is now able to feel everyone's suffering and becomes the goddess of creation. With these newfound abilities, Lenneth brings everyone back and restores Midgard and his inhabitants. With her new godly powers and the Levantine in hand, Lenneth can now face Loki at full strength.
Come to me, Dark Warriors. Battle awaits us.
Yeah! Take that! Ride in pain!
Ye must desire rest from thy empty existence. Thou shalt have it.
Celestial Storm!
How could you endure such sorcery?
How wonderful this power is! Flames of the apocalypse! By the power of the orb, die!
Mystic Drop! Take that!
I grow tired of you. Finishing strike! Final blast! You're next!
Ye must desire rest from thy empty existence. Thou shalt have it.
Celestial Storm!
If that did not stop you,
It shall be engraved upon your soul. Divine assault. Nivalang Balesti! Return from whence you came!
Curse you! I can't die here! Valkyrie! Ah!
Loki, I never understood what was inside your heart. I wonder if I'll ever be able to understand you.
You already do.
Lucian, shall we go?
Even after the battle, Lenneth still wanted to understand Loki, but she was able to revive everyone, even Lucian. Now Lenneth rules Asgard as the goddess of creation, and peace is finally restored to Midgard. You know, I kinda wonder if she's gonna give that Levantine sword back to Niflheim. However, by the end, we're still left with a few questions. Who exactly is Brahms? What happened in the lost city of the Pan? More importantly, Lenneth is now proof that Lazard was right about his homunculi. They have the potential to create a god, and he's still alive, so what will he do with this knowledge? Apparently, these and many other lore mysteries are shown and answered in Valkyrie Profile 2, which takes place hundreds of years before Valkyrie Profile Lenneth. Again, I guess I need to play that next. Oh man, this video really took me forever to put together. I think I rewrote the script like 3 times and I beat the game 4 times. Well, 3.5 because to get the C ending, I just kinda skipped through the chapters. But I still had a lot of fun making this. This game has so much to offer. There are things I didn't even get to mention. Like there are some on Heriar that know each other and have their own stories that continue throughout Lenneth's journey. And yeah, I have to admit, I have to play Valkyrie Profile 2 very soon. I have a long backlog and VP2 is pretty long and difficult. Plus, my original disc messed up. Thankfully I got a new one, but either way, I know I gotta make a follow-up video. So it's gonna take a while, but please look forward to that one. Hey, if you made it to the end here, thank you so much for watching. Because YouTube has a shitty algorithm for new creators, please like this video, and if you want to see more, feel free to subscribe. I have more videos on the way, so please look forward to those. Thanks again, and let me know about your experience with Valkyrie Profile in the comments. Take care, see you next time.